Yeah, morning, Trey. So sentiment did sour a bit on the trading floors, but we've seen good buys coming off the lows. It could have been a lot worse on the session. If we have a look at the data flow, it's really been a story about China trade data. We saw the exports to the US dropping 23% year on year. So those export numbers are pretty weak. We also were treated to headlines around a windfall tax that was being proposed by the Italian government on Italian banks. There's been a big consensus trade to be long Italian banks this year. So they got a big working out playing through. Names like Unicredito down about 6%, but the MIB closing down 2.1%, arguably the underperformer across the European region. And the Euro Stoxx bank index was down 3.5%. I think from a macro perspective, the fact that we didn't see Italian BTPs widen too much against German bunds was probably, contained some of the selling in risk. They remain around 168. A bit later on, we did see the Moody's headline, or the headlines around Moody's, that they were looking to downgrade 10 small and medium-sized banks based on the CRE exposure, what we're having with funding costs, high funding costs, and also capital weakness playing through. And that saw regional banks and smaller banks getting hit pretty hard. We saw the KRE ETF down 4.5% or so on the open, trading down to 46.85. But as this cash session wore on, we've seen good buyers playing through, and we've seen that KRE ETF about 3.5% off the lows. You go into the S&P, and we saw it closing down 40 basis points or so. 70% of stocks were low. It's a pretty poor breadth, but we have seen good buys in financials off the lows. As you can see from the sectors, healthcare have worked pretty well. Utilities have done all right, but certainly materials and financials under pressure, as you'd imagine, given that news flow we've been seeing. But as I say, good buys off the lows. The S&P cash trading down to 44.64, just settling up just shy of 4,500. In FX markets, well, the dollar's reigned supreme. We're getting good dollar buys playing through, certainly against the stocky and against the knocky. Aussie dollar, at one stage was down pretty hard, but we've seen a few buyers as equity markets rallied. We've seen fixed income go bid. I know a lot of our focus on the 3-year Treasury auction, which went pretty well, but 10s are down about 7 basis points at the moment, given that data flow and the news flow we've been seeing. Now, in terms of commodity markets, big reversal playing through in crude. That's had a nice reversal to the upside. We're trading just shy of 83 at the moment. Now, looking ahead, CBA's earnings on the Oz 200 and also China CPI to work with there.